Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? What is it, Thursday? It is. It's Thursday, the 14th of November. Glad you tuned in. I like to look at this as a lecture hall. Pretty good analogy there. See how many students are filling in for today so far. 37 folks have joined Mark's lecture series here. Seriously, though, good to be back with you on YouTube live here this fine and chilly Thursday morning. It's a lot colder than it's been lately. And I just got back from New York City last night, went up and visited with Fox Weather yesterday. And I am telling you, we have something coming, hopefully tomorrow. Very short order, how quickly this is going to come together that literally will change the way we look at weather coverage ever again. I mean, and I'm going to be the one that's doing it. That's exciting, I know, but I can't tell you what it is. You have to just, hopefully, it works tomorrow. We're going to do it during this coastal storm. Fingers crossed, and you'll just have to tune in. I'll tweet about it and let people know that it's going to happen, but definitely revolutionary, and its time has come, and we're going to do it. So that's part of the reason why I went up to meet with them, is I wanted to share with Fox Weather this idea that I had that we need to do, and they were all about it. And I wish I could tell you more, but I can't ruin it. Um, so uh, Great meetings, and then worked on some this 2 hour special they're going to be putting together with Robert Ray, the very talented Robert Ray from Fox Weather. So I did a couple of interviews for this piece that he's doing. He edits everything himself, does all the production stuff. Oh my goodness. I mean, I know what it's like because I make these Hurricane Highway programs, which I'm like 3 years behind on. Um, but anyway, just a great day up there. Can't say enough about the public transit. And I know I don't go to New York very often, and maybe after a while it would get on my nerves, but the ease of getting around from Brooklyn, where I stayed the night before when I flew up. Let's just go back to the beginning. When I got on the plane here in Wilmington, it's just a direct flight to LaGuardia. And I mean, maybe 100 minutes later, I'm on the ground. LaGuardia is a beautiful airport. I guess they've upgraded it or something. Really easy to get around in Queens and then over to Brooklyn. I got some dinner, went to my hotel. It's cheaper to stay in Brooklyn, let me tell you that, versus Manhattan. Holy cow. Um, so I stayed in Brooklyn, and then went over very close by and jumped on the MTA. And I asked the lady at the booth or whatever, I was like, "Hey, I'm trying to get to Times Square." Basically, it's pretty much where Fox is located, and NBC is over there, and CBS. It's Times Square. It's the media capital of the world. And she said, "Yeah, you just take the F train, I think it was, and it goes right in. And it's like 40 minutes." And I said, "Well, where do I get my ticket?" She just tap your debit card on the little thing there. And I did, and it was $1. It's like, what? How could this be? I looked at Lyft. I was going to get a Lyft from my hotel. That was $67. Plus, I always leave a good tip. And that was going to take 55 minutes. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Anyway, so wow, I was very impressed. Got into New York, into Times Square early enough to go get some fantastic New York pizza at a place called Little Italy. It's right out near, it's pretty close to the Fox Studios there near Times Square. Very busy place, and they got all these giant pizzas around. And anyway, we're not here to, this is not Mark's travel adventures, right? But it's part of what I do, okay? And I wanted to just, I feel like this community is so, um, I don't know everybody personally. Obviously, that would be impossible, but storytelling is part of what I do, with the work with these cameras or through the documentaries or doing hits on Fox or, just it's all part of the whole spiel, right? Of talking about the weather, and this is part of it. And I'm very, very happy with my work with Fox Weather and how they treat everybody, and it's great. And hopefully tomorrow we're going to unveil something that's just going to be spectacular. All right. So let's see what we got here. People texting. All righty. Let's put that aside because I can't be distracted. Let's share the old screen because we got some stuff to discuss here. All right. And we have 61 folks in the lecture hall now, so welcome to everybody. Just a real quick roll call. I'll look back a little bit. We got Attila the Fun. That's a great one right there. We got Jordan and Tyler and KP1 and our good friends William and Howard, of course, and Rena. How's it going up there in Newburyport? And some of these folks are patrons, by the way, which really we appreciate. And on Monday, I have a terrific uh, announcement about Patreon. Two things that are huge. This is just like Christmas came early. And so I'm going to do that on Monday, the Monday update. We'll get there. But anyway, some of these folks are our patrons, so it's great to see you as well. All sorts of folks. A. Martinez, um, watching from, the guy on NPR, his name's A. Martinez. If you ever listen to Morning Edition, when you get to be my age, it's NPR and podcasts. And for me, it's theme music from movies, and I don't even know who the artists now that are popular. My kids do, but anyway, story for another day. Da-da-dum. Yeah, so KP1, this would be what I was talking about, will be on Fox Weather tomorrow. It won't be live, but well, you'll see it. The thing itself isn't live. You'll see. Just stay tuned to Twitter, and I'll be like, um, I'll talk to, I'll talk about when it's going to happen. Let's see. So yeah, this will be the big reveal, Christina. It's going to be on Fox Weather tomorrow, if everything works. All right. Um, so let's see what we got here. Go back over to the title card just for a second. We're going to talk about TD19 and what a colossal fail of me interpreting the models the wrong way. I fell for it. We all did. I saw a lot of professional meteorologists out there. We thought, oh boy, this is going to be one for the record books. And boy, the models yanked that rug right out from all of us. Humbled. And I'm gonna tell you something, I'd rather be humbled this way than you have an Otis or, whatever, like a Michael, where we didn't think it's gonna be much and it turns out being catastrophic. I would rather, and see, we weren't wrong. We were just wrong interpreting the models. I'm gonna talk about that more in this afternoon's update. And by the way, a little sneak peek, the title of today's update, the afternoon update, is going to be Models Are Not Forecasts. That's going to be the title card. Because this, we were thinking, I certainly was looking at the Euro and the GFS, all of them. I thought this would be a hurricane today. And we all saw it. I showed you the last few days. I did a big headline the other day, time to sound the alarms. And that still holds true. Because remember, I did talk about that this is not just United States centric here, that the alarm bells need to go off for everywhere, the Caribbean, and the potential that this could go up and impact Florida in a significant way, but that was later down the road. However, it did look early on, we all saw it together, that this was already going to be a hurricane and one of these historic latest Cat 5 evers. I mean, it just seemed like this was going to be one of those ones where we like, wow, how did that happen? And then again, everything just kind of changed. And a big part of it is the organization of the system. It just didn't quite consolidate as quickly, and it's going to interact with land more. And that is the problem down here. I'm going to show you, Honduras, known for some just catastrophic, absolutely horrific flooding. You think about Mitch 1998, and then this is going to go up in here and impact Belize and parts of Mexico with heavy rain. And again, the cruise industry, somebody on YouTube commented a little while ago, I saw it, they pop up as a push notification for me that they had been in touch. They said they were on a cruise ship and then they were now down in Honduras. And this storm is coming in. Well, the depression, soon to be storm, whatever. So that's what it looks like on the track map. This is what it looks like on the infrared. Um, it is trying to organize, got that tail on the northwest side this time. Sometimes you see those over here, but this time the little shrimp look curling up on the northwest side. But the proximity to Central America will limit the strength of this. But remember, and I'm gonna pop back on for a second, one of those moments where I need to talk to you, not just at you. It is not always about the category or the wind speed and the amount of rainfall that could happen in Honduras and maybe even over towards Belize. That is going to create a lot of problems. And so, again, this whole category thing, it's not going to be a category anything, perhaps. Maybe it doesn't even make it to hurricane strength. So, how do you get that message out that there could be catastrophic Cat 5 level flooding, right? Because you equate catastrophic was like with like the top end of any scale, I would think. And I'm thinking back to Helene, at the end of September there, that when it was coming up into the southeast post landfall, it was going to be a tropical storm. Same with Harvey. There's no category there anymore. It's just more descriptive terms, they would mention the possibility of catastrophic flooding, historic flooding, whatever. But we're so tuned into labeling things with numbers 1 through 5, give it 5 stars, movies get 4 stars, a scale of 1 to 10, and whatever, that we lose sight of the meat of everything. And we do that a lot with all the different things that we categorize with some kind of a scale risk assessment. And that needs to change. I don't know how to do it, but it needs to, because what we're seeing down here in Honduras, especially, not as bad as Mitch, right? Because that just sat there and that was truly just horrible. I remember that. It was just heartbreaking. But this is going to dump a lot of rain down there and be a real big problem. All right, so what a few, I tell you what, it's like I flew to New York and everything changed with this thing. I was like, what? Got up yesterday morning. I was like, you got to be kidding me. We all thought, and then nope, not so much. But Tomer, and other folks been on top of it. And what a talented person Tomer is with all these maps and the coding. I'm telling you, it's just amazing. And it really helps to tell the story. So here we go. Tomer posted this not long ago. Almost all models abandon the idea of TD19 becoming more than a weak tropical storm. I mean, that's the headline right there. Almost all of them have just jumped off because, yeah, you saw it. Like I said, we all saw it together. Wasn't like I was hallucinating, and now not so much. But the HWARF still trying to, pull the coup here, but it's probably not going to happen. The overall idea is that this is going to stay pretty weak, wind-wise, still going to dump a lot of rain. And then the track forecast here, it's just going to be buried too much over Central America. And some of the models did catch on to that, the Euro AI early on, but certainly not the operational GFS or the Euro operational. And I'm going to show that later today. I'm going to go back in time and, like, I think it's important. There wasn't just one model that completely whiffed. Both the Euro and the GFS blew it operationally. But did they, though? They're not forecasts. I keep falling into that trap. It's just guidance. It's not a forecast. A model is not a forecast. There's another great one from Ryan down at Weather Tiger with more Central American land interaction ahead for TD19 through Tuesday next week. Odds are falling of a strong storm moving into the Gulf of Mexico next week, which everybody in Florida, hallelujah, right? You guys are just done with it for now. Um, because next hurricane season is only a little over 6 months away, in case you needed reminding about that. That's how long this season's going, right? I mean, really, we're only going to be about 6 months away from the next one. However, this westward shift, Ryan says, may also boost midweek rain chances for eastern portions of the deep south and the Gulf Coast. We could use the rain down here. At least it won't come with a bunch of other problems, it would appear. All right, so that's the tropics. That's what I'm looking at regarding that. And oh, no, it's not. One more thing. I don't use this very often, and perhaps I should. The GFS total accumulated precipitation, this is in inches. And I want to draw your attention. right down here to Central America. And watch what happens. It just accumulates big time down there, all along the north coast, and then spreading into through Belize and then the Yucatan. And that's the next 5 days. And we're talking more than a foot of rain if we look at the scale over here, all these gold colors and on up, all through this area. That is very, very bad. And that does warrant, and that is why I said time to sound the alarms on my update the other day. Because now, granted, I thought it was going to be more for wind and, the category and all that kind of stuff. I kind of fell into that trap, as I've admitted to. But I also knew the potential was there for very heavy rain and big impacts for Central America. And we do focus on everywhere, not just the US. So here we go. So, this is going to be a big newsmaker more than likely. All right. Now, moving on, all this purple stuff happening over here off the southeast and mid-Atlantic. I don't know. This is still the southeast. I don't consider North Carolina the mid-Atlantic, even though I guess it is midway. But anyway, what is all that? Those are storm warnings. Let's just click on eastern North Carolina. Tried. Let's try that again. I got to get a better, they need a better, like should be able to zoom in on this like we can on our interactive map. Come on, we need to get Will Woodgate to code the National Weather Service stuff. If only, right? You'd have to get paid for that, though. Will's hopefully chuckling. He coded up our maps, and they are spectacular. So anyway, this is what I want to show you. All this purple in here, those are your storm warnings, coastal flood warnings, and high wind warning, high surf advisory. It's just loaded for bear because we're going to get a little coastal storm coming in. Hey, look at that. Even some snow in parts, perhaps, of the higher elevations in mountainous Virginia. And, we're getting there. We're finally turning the tide towards true fall. But watch what happens as we get through early tomorrow morning. This coastal low rapidly develops. It's not real deep. The pressure drops down to 992, but that gradient in this pretty small area right here will impact the Outer Banks, and it can be pretty significant overall. And coastal flood warnings, the whole bit, that's all in line because of that. And Robert Ray is going to come down from Fox Weather. He's going to cover it. I'm going to be out there. And National Weather Service out of Newport, Morehead City. Great update about it. And I'll put a link to this in the description of this live feed when it's done. But, this is a big deal out here. It's a small area that'll be impacted, but for them, overwash, maybe more houses falling in the ocean near Merlo or Rodanthe, we'll see. And, the particular, and I like this. I like this categorization of everything. You see that purple, extreme impacts. That's really, I like this little matrix here that they've set up because it talks about, there's no category with this. It's not a name storm, but what are the impacts? Wind, Friday, a 3, I guess, out of 5. I mean, maybe there are categories. Coastal flooding and surge, a 3. And then the overall marine impacts, for boats and whatnot, very extreme here on Friday. So a quick hitting system, couple inches of rain or more out there. Just different ways to get your info, of course. And then your wind gust, 60s. I'm going to definitely bring one of my weather stations with me and set it up out there and get some good wind readings from this. And it's just in my backyard. It's like 5 hours away, no big deal. Easy for me to drive up there. And then the other thing I wanted to show you that I'm looking forward to, we talked about this at Fox yesterday. Wintertime, winter coverage. Look at this as we move the GFS out. Hopefully, it doesn't pull the rug out from under us too many more times this year, especially with winter weather. The snow weenies, they're not going to put up with that. But watch what happens. First of all, Monday is going to be a nasty, severe weather day. We'll talk about that on the Monday update. But then as we get through next week, just check out this. Boy, big old trough digging in. Your thicknesses really starting to lower. Cold air, you name it. We're finally getting towards a more wintry type pattern, and the lake effect machine is going to start cranking up. It does appear that northwest flow. I know some folks, a gentleman by the name of Mitch in South Carolina is going to be very excited about that. You guys follow Mitch, right? The Mitch weather, and he's really passionate about that winter weather. So the Appalachians, you get that northwest flow snow, and the Great Lakes are going to come to life. And maybe, just maybe, I'll be heading up to Buffalo. They could be in on some lake effect. Very popular area for that. Eventually, Watertown. The lakes are still very warm, by the way, well above normal. So once we get the cold air settling in, especially as we get into December, the lake effect machine is going to just be absolutely incredible. In fact, let's just zoom into the Northeast here. I'll show you. Look at those plumes. This is coming up next weekend, hopefully. And you got to just get them lined just right. There you go. If this pans out, now that's 246 hours out. Same with hurricanes, is that going to line up just right? But at least we're starting to see this in the pattern. It's just neat. Lake effect snow is fantastic. It really is. I got to take my kids up there to the Tug Hill region, especially. They would love it, where you just get blitzed with snow. So those are the different things that I'm looking at as part of what I do as I prepare the afternoon update. So let's see what we got here. We'll back up just a little bit. Um, Howard, oh, Howard's talking to Karen. That's funny. Um, True Fall, yep, about time, exactly. Blue Goose. And Brad, yeah, Brad will be out there. He lives right there in Rodanthe. I will see him tomorrow. I'm not going to be going up until late tonight because I got my son's first middle school basketball game is today, and that stuff's important to me. I don't miss stuff like that, so I will sacrifice a couple hours of sleep to make sure I watch Josh and his team play some basketball this afternoon, and then I'll head up there. What else we got? Yeah, I like it. They all talk to each other. That's cool too. Rena, I think if it can swing one way, it can swing back. Problem is, times like spring, especially autumn, the patterns are so volatile. Oh, absolutely. You know, that's the weird part about it. In November, you get this, that's the word, that's volatile and a volatility. And I think that's a big part of what we saw there is that it looked like a lock for a couple of days, and then, like a pendulum, as you mentioned, it can swing. Lake effect snow, can't even wrap my mind around it coming next week. It's been so brutally hot. Oh, I know. It's just been nuts. And part of that's the La Nina, by the way, just the overall setup. You do typically get a warmer and drier pattern in the southeast and the east as a whole. So, all right. I don't know what our peak was, but we're at 99 folks now in the lecture hall. Appreciate you tuning in. I'm just going to stop the screen share for a second. So, yeah, I'm going to work on some projects here today and get the afternoon update ready. And we'll see what happens with our tropical depression down there. Probably will be Sarah at some point. And we'll see how this coastal storm evolves. And I'll head up this afternoon, evening, whatever it is, towards Rodanthe. And by the way, if you don't know where Rodanthe is, on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, it's a very small little town out there. It's about the farthest east that you can get in North Carolina to be, basically out in the Atlantic. And it's part of that whole graveyard of the Atlantic thing. Big history out there, stormy. And it's a great area too, big fishing and vacation destination, the Outer Banks. But it is vulnerable. And the erosion over the last decades have certainly encroached on houses, and the highways have been redone, highways have been built, bridges torn down, new ones built just to keep the place going. It's kind of like our version of the Florida Keys, these different islands out there, Hatteras, Ocracoke, Pea Island, just a beautiful area, but it does have its issues with battling against nature. And so we'll cover that later tonight and through tomorrow. And again, sometime tomorrow afternoon or mid-morning, whatever it is that we do this, if everything works, something really, really neat coming to Fox Weather. And then eventually we'll integrate it into our coverage as well. All righty. All right. I think that's about it. I'll drop the video out first and then start to prep for my goodbyes. Screen share again so I can get my title card back up. There we are. Very cool. Well, hey, look, thanks for hanging out with me a little bit this morning and seeing what I'm looking at. And I'll be back with you later today with the regular afternoon update. So until then, have a great rest of your Thursday. I'm Mark Sudduth. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later today.